Alright, this is our next recipe we're going to do. It's my version of macaroni and cheese, and I'm going to actually double this recipe because we're having it for Thanksgiving. But this is how it's normally made if it's just me and my family, okay? So we're going to get started here. Alright, here are our ingredients. For this double batch, we're going to use a 16-ounce box of elbow macaroni, 1 stick of margarine or butter, a half a teaspoon of salt times 2, so that'd be 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and you don't have to double that, I already did it. Some paprika and some mustard powder, but that's to taste. I got a half a cup of flour, and we got some milk. We're going to use 2.5 cups of milk, okay? And then we've got 2 16-ounce bricks of cheese. We got 1 pepper jack and 1 sharp cheddar, and I shredded those, okay? So we're gonna get started. Okay, first things first, we're going to go ahead and get our water boiling. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this on to high, okay? And we're gonna put a lid on it. That way it'll come up to a boil. All right, we'll be back. Okay, as you can see, our water is boiling, so we're gonna go ahead and add our elbow noodles to that. Okay, and you're gonna wanna open the lid away from yourself. Okay, now here okay, there we go. Now, okay, we're going to stir this. Try not to get you guys all steamy here. Okay, there, let those cook. I'm going to put the lid back on the pan. Oops, got to steamy again. Okay, there's that lid. Okay, we're going to let that cook until those are done. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get started on our cheese sauce. Okay, so to this pan I've got 1 stick of butter, and we're going to put this on about halfway, okay? Alright, and we're going to let that melt for just a second. Okay, that's the first step, let this melt. Okay, our butter has now melted, as you can see. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to add our salt and pepper. Okay, that is a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, mix that in. Okay, now we're going to add in our flour. That is a half a cup of flour. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna whisk this together. Now we're gonna let this cook for a few minutes. Okay, because we do not want raw flour taste. So that's what we're gonna do. How about that? Okay, we'll be back. We're just gonna let this cook, like I said. Alright, our noodles are tender enough, and we're going to go ahead and turn the heat off, and then we're going to drain out that water, and we'll be back. I went ahead and transferred this flour mixture that we were just cooking to a bigger pot. Okay, and now we're going to start adding some milk to this. Okay, we're only going to add a little at a time, because we want it to thicken between each addition of milk. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so you're just going to keep trying to incorporate that milk into these flour curds, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, like that. See how it's getting mixed in there. Okay, now we're going to add a little more. Okay, and I have 3½ cups of milk instead of, I think I told you 2½ cups. It really needs to be 3½ cups, okay, for this amount of macaroni and cheese. All right, and see how it's starting to thicken already? Okay, you're just going to keep doing that and keep adding that milk until it's all added. Okay, just make sure you don't add it all at once. It won't thicken quite right. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. Gotta add a little at a time. Let it cook through. Okay, I'm gonna add some more milk. Okay, but you kind of get the idea. Okay, so we're gonna keep going until we have used up all 3½ cups of that milk. Okay, so we'll be back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and call this a good sauce. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add some mustard powder, just a little bit, like that. All right, and that's going to give it some good flavor. I don't know what it does, but I like it. And my grandmother always did it like that, so that's what we're going to do. And then we got some paprika, like that. Okay, and that's probably, I don't know, maybe just for color. I'm not sure. You don't really taste it, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and incorporate this into our sauce. And now we're going to start adding our cheese. Okay. There you go. That's what that sauce is supposed to look like before you add the cheese. And I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to slowly add that cheese little by little until it's all incorporated, okay? And I'll show you that. Okay, here's our white sauce. Now, slowly incorporate our cheese in. Okay. There we go. We're just going to stir it around, and you'll see that it melts right in there. Okay, and we're going to keep going until it's all incorporated. Okay, all that we shredded earlier. Okay, I'll be back and I'll show you the final result. Okay, I just poured all the cheese in. Look at that. Okay, just going to stir it and let it get all cheesy. You can see how it's starting to already melt. Okay, and since this is already cooked, if you didn't want to have to cook your macaroni and cheese in the oven after you add the cheese sauce, you don't have to. Alright, there you go. But you can bake it if you'd like. If you like baked macaroni and cheese, that's good. I like it either way. Macaroni and cheese is good no matter how you eat it. Okay, so I'm going to finish and let this finish melting, and we'll add some noodles to it. Just a moment. Alright, now watch. I'm stirring in the cheese, okay? I don't know if you can tell, but look how cheesy that is. Okay. Just think when you bake this, if you bake it, oh my gosh, that cheese just gets right into those noodles really well. Alright, so I'm going to finish stirring this, and then I'm going to pour it into a casserole dish and get it in the oven. My husband really does like it baked, but we've had it before where it hasn't been baked. He just likes that golden crispy top. Okay, here it is. Okay, I'll be back. And there it is, ready to go into the oven. there it is in the oven. Alright, our macaroni and cheese just came out of the oven. Doesn't that look delicious? Still hot and bubbling. Look at that beautiful color. Alright, so I just wanted to show you that.